Today on Upfront, Tuesday is primary election day in Wisconsin. It's Democrat versus Democrat and Republican versus Republican. Our political pundits weigh in on the key contest to watch. Also on Upfront, Senator Ron Johnson becomes part of the governor's race. Why he said what he said. Plus, Johnson on why he's not backing down from his challenge of Obamacare and the battle over immigration reform. And a Medal of Honor winner gets a Wisconsin welcome. Should we be thinking about his profile and courage on Election Day?
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Up Front with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Up Front. We begin today with Republican Senator Ron Johnson, who's been in the headlines a couple of times this past week. First, Johnson announced he's appealing a judge's ruling against his Obamacare lawsuit. Johnson claims the Obama administration is giving special treatment to members of Congress and their staffs who can still receive federal subsidies for their health insurance under Obamacare. Then later in the week, Johnson made news when he was asked about Republican attacks on Democratic candidate for governor Mary Burke. Burke's wealth and business practices at Trek Bicycle have come under fire. Johnson, a wealthy manufacturer himself, said he's a big supporter of Governor Walker, but added that it doesn't help to demonize success or demagogue against it. Senator Ron Johnson joins us now from Green Bay. Senator, good to have you back on the program. Let me ask you about those comments that you made before the Journal-Sentinel editorial board the other day. Do you stand by those comments, or in retrospect, do you wish maybe you had answered the question a bit differently?
Well, I certainly wasn't trying to make news. And like you said, Mike, I'm a big supporter of Governor Walker. I think he's done a great job for Wisconsin. First and foremost, shortly after he got elected, he proclaimed Wisconsin's open for business. And that was really the only point I was trying to make, because I think every elected official really ought to concentrate on trying to make, whether it's a state or a city or the federal government, an attractive place for business risk-taking, business investment, expansion, job creation. I mean, that's how you build a robust economy. That's how you help middle-income Americans. And that's exactly what Scott Walker's done. He's made Wisconsin a more attractive place, and I think that the results are evident, and I'm a big supporter for his re-election. Wisconsin needs Scott Walker for another term.
But you don't regret having said that you think it's a bad idea to demonize success or to demagogue against the outsourcing of Trek Bicycle?
Mike, I've been making that statement for 4 years, ever since I entered the public arena. I think it's a very, very bad part of political demagoguery to demonize success. What we should be doing is incentivizing it and celebrating it. So that's not a new statement on my part. I've said that repeatedly over the last 4 years.
Let me talk to you about your lawsuit, the one that is challenging this administrative ruling by the Obama administration. You said you're going to continue to pursue it. So a couple of questions. How will you pay for the continued pursuit of that? And has this become really a line in the sand for you, something where you said, you know what, I'm going to take on this issue of presidential authority right here and right now?
Well, we'll continue to pay it. It's out of my campaign. That was what Senate Ethics allowed me to do. They probably thought I wouldn't do it, but this is a very serious issue. And really, I really appreciated Judge Griesbach really gave the case serious consideration. Don't agree with his ruling, but in his opinion, he pointed out how serious an issue this really is. And at the heart of it, the reason I sued the president was to highlight this president's unilateral governance, the expansion of executive power at the expense of our very delicate tripartite form of government, that those checks and balances that really preserve our freedom and protect us against that tyranny that Judge Griesbach warned us about.
Well, as you know, the president said in the past week that he's going to continue to exercise his executive authority and that he intends to use it to address the issue of immigration reform. I know that makes Republicans crazy, makes your heads want to explode. But my question is this: how much responsibility does Congress bear for this happening, because Congress has been unable to reach a bipartisan agreement on immigration reform?
Well, what I will say is the House passed a bill to address the specific problem at the border. They had a funding bill in excess of $600 million paid for by prioritizing spending. And, of course, then they just added a provision that said President Obama cannot defer action on future illegal immigrations, which has been one of the primary causes of this surge in childhood illegal immigrants. It's because his deferred action on childhood admissions created the impression by families in Central America that if you get your kids in America, they're home free. And that's the proximate cause for this thing. So we really need to understand what our policy goal has to be is we got to stop the flow. We have to deter parents from making that really dangerous decision to send their kids on a horrific journey on a train they call the Beast, subject them to real violence, potentially sexual assault, maybe even death. We really have to stop the flow. That's got to be our achievable goal of policy.
Why can't Congress, though, reach an agreement on a broader immigration reform package? Why is that so difficult to do?
Well, I would say that there's a disagreement in this country over what we need to do. But here's some unilateral action that President Obama really could take within his executive authority. He could start prioritizing spending. You know, Washington loves an emergency. So you know, they take this situation, they call it an emergency. And listen, it's a humanitarian crisis, but it's been building, it's been a problem. The president can repurpose other lower priority funds, and he can make sure that we take care of these kids in a humane fashion. So there's some executive authority that I'd be happy to have the president exercise, but he should not be unilaterally granting deferred action on millions of additional illegal immigrants. That's just going to continue to increase the incentives for people to come into our country illegally. We are a nation of laws. I'm all for legal immigration. I'm all for a robust guest worker program with a minimum wage attached to it, so we're not incentivizing employers to bring in lower-cost workers. But we have got to end all the incentives for illegal immigration. That's the best way to secure the border, and that's got to be the first step of any immigration reform. But the problem is Democrats always hold our border security hostage for some guarantee of citizenship. I guess they're doing it for some cynical electoral or political purpose. I don't think we should be cynical. I don't think we should play politics with this issue. Let's solve the problem, and let's secure the border by eliminating all those incentives for illegal immigration.
Senator, final question. I saw a Wall Street Journal NBC poll. You may have seen it in the last week, and I think it had one particularly troubling number in it. It said that 3/4 of Americans think their kids won't be as well off as they are today. And they seem to blame a lot of it on Congress's inability to take on the nation's big challenges. Give me a sense of what you think Congress can do, what the Senate can do, what you could do in Washington that would reassure the American people that, yes, the people who lead this country are up to the task of solving these big problems.
Well, we should first admit we have the problem. We haven't done that sufficiently. I hear politicians all the time say, for example, that Social Security is solvent to the year 2033. It's not. Over the next 30 years, Social Security would pay out somewhere between $12.6 and $14.7 trillion more in benefits than it takes in the payroll tax. So we have to admit we have the problem. We have to properly define it. We've got to set the demagoguery aside, get informed as members of Congress, but also as citizens. We've got to start thinking about these problems, and we really need to start working together, not question each other's motives, work in good faith to start solving the problems.
Senator Ron Johnson, the Republican from the Oshkosh area, we appreciate your time. Thanks very much for being with us.
Have a great day.
When we come back, a look ahead to Tuesday's primary, the races to watch. Our political panel looks at who could win and why. And Senator Ron Johnson just told us what he thinks needs to be done to reform immigration policy. Give us your ideas on needed reform. Weigh in by liking and sharing Upfront on Facebook.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by American Transmission Company.